The automotive recycling industry is now considered one of the largest and most economically efficient industrial sectors in the world. In the United States, more than 12 million end-of-life vehicles are collected and professionally recycled each year. This huge volume has turned seemingly worthless scrap yards into artificial resource mines, providing abundant raw materials for many different manufacturing industries, especially steel, aluminum, copper, and engineering plastics. According to statistics, the economic value of the automotive recycling industry in the U.S. reaches about 60 billion USD per year, contributing significantly to the national economy. This is not only a potential market, but also creates hundreds of thousands of direct and indirect jobs, from dismantling workers, component inspection engineers, to automation line operators and global logistics system specialists. What is particularly impressive is that automobiles are the consumer product with the highest recycling rate in the world. About 95% of old cars in the United States are recycled, meaning that almost all vehicles, after being decommissioned, can be reborn as new materials or components. From steel shells, car frames, to plastic and glass parts, all can be processed, reused, and returned to the production chain. With its outstanding scale and efficiency, the auto recycling industry not only saves natural resources and reduces the cost of metal production, but also contributes significantly to reducing greenhouse gas emissions and protecting the global environment. This is truly a sustainable link in the circular economy, where old cars do not end their life cycle, but open a new journey, greener, more efficient, and full of economic value. The automotive recycling industry not only brings huge economic benefits, but also plays an extremely important role in environmental protection and sustainable development. One of the most prominent benefits is the ability to save up to 74% of energy compared to mining and smelting from virgin iron ore. That means each old car that is recycled will significantly reduce energy consumption while cutting CO2 emissions and greenhouse gases, factors that directly affect climate change. On average, about 75% of the weight of a car can be recovered and reused, of which steel accounts for the majority, is melted down to reproduce new materials. Aluminum is reused in the manufacturing and aviation industry. Glass from car doors can be recycled into building materials, and plastic and rubber from interiors and tires become raw materials for industrial and civil products. Making the most of these materials significantly reduces the need for new natural resource extraction, conserves minerals, and reduces the impact on the ecosystem. Not only that, the recycling process also helps reduce production costs and industrial pollution. Smelting from scrap iron consumes less energy, creates less toxic waste, and reduces toxic gas emissions compared to smelting new ore. Thanks to that, factories not only save operating costs, but also contribute to reducing pressure on the environment. From limiting excavation of soil and rock to reducing water and air pollution. In short, car recycling is a dual solution, both economic and ecological. End-of-life cars are no longer industrial waste, but become valuable secondary resources, contributing to the formation of a green circular economy where everything is regenerated and continues to serve people in a new life cycle. When a car has completed its life cycle, instead of becoming polluting waste, it will be put into a professional recycling process to recover maximum material value and ensure environmental safety. This entire process is carried out according to scientific steps and strict control. The first step is reception and inspection. Each car brought into the recycling facility will have detailed information recorded: chassis number, engine number, year of manufacture, overall condition, and level of damage. Then the car is attached with an electronic tracking code to ensure that it can be managed throughout the entire processing chain. This helps to accurately identify parts that are still working well, such as the engine, gearbox, electrical system, leather seats, or dashboard, thereby providing the market for reusable components, a segment with very high value. The next step is to remove hazardous components, Lead-acid batteries from gasoline and diesel vehicles are recovered and recycled almost 100%, while lithium-ion batteries from electric or hybrid vehicles must be processed in a specialized environment, ensuring that no toxic chemicals are leaked out. The vehicle is then drained of all technical fluids, such as gasoline, engine oil, transmission oil, coolant, and refrigerant gas in the air conditioner. All are sucked out by a closed system to avoid pollution. Notably, many types of oil, after being filtered, can also be reused right in the factory, helping to save operating costs. Finally, the stage of disassembling and sorting materials. Large components such as tires, glass, doors, seats, engines, and gearboxes are separated, sorted, and sent to separate recycling plants. Metals are remelted into new steel, plastics and rubber are recycled into industrial products, and good components are sold back to the spare parts market. Thanks to this process, each expired vehicle is thoroughly dissected, transformed from scrap into a valuable resource, actively contributing to the green circular economy. Once all reusable components, batteries, and fluids are safely removed, the rest of the car is just the bare steel frame, which accounts for more than 60% of the car's weight. This is the core part of the recycling process, where the metal is recovered and prepared for a new life. Before entering the crushing stage, the car frame must be completely cleaned. Workers in specialized machines will remove materials that cannot be melted or easily cause impurities such as hard plastics, electrical wires, exhaust pipes, foam padding, and remaining aluminum or copper parts. This work is supported by hydraulic shears with powerful jaws that can tear apart complex parts in just a few seconds. The goal of this step is to ensure that the remaining metal is pure, ready for the recycling process without damaging the metallurgical equipment afterward. Next, the car frame is put into a high-powered hydraulic press. Depending on the scale and production goals, there are 3 common types of presses. Baler compresses the car frame into a tight cube, easy to store and transport. Flattener compresses the car into a flat sheet, saving space, suitable for small and medium-sized facilities. Shear baler cuts and compresses at the same time, creating neat steel pieces ideal for the next crushing step. After the pressing step, the bare steel car frame is fed into a giant crusher, the heart of the recycling line. Inside, steel shafts with saw teeth rotate in opposite directions with great force, crushing the entire car frame in just a few seconds. The result is tons of small, clean, and homogeneous metal scraps, ready to enter the sorting and smelting process. Thanks to this modern car frame processing process, cars that were thought to have ended their lives are turned into a valuable source of raw materials, starting the journey of regeneration in the steel industry. After the car frame is crushed into countless pieces, the mixture is still a mess of steel, aluminum, copper, plastic, and rubber. To turn this pile of materials into valuable renewable resources, the plant will carry out sorting and metallurgy, 2 crucial steps in the entire car recycling process. The first step is to separate the metals using modern technology. A system of high-power magnets is used to attract all the steel, which makes up the majority of the car's weight. Next, the rest goes through an eddy current separator, where non-ferrous metals, such as aluminum and copper, are separated based on electromagnetic reactions. Thanks to this technology, each type of metal is recovered with high purity, while non-metallic impurities such as plastic, rubber, and fiberglass are removed or sent to another recycling line. Once separated, the clean steel and aluminum are compressed into blocks for easy transportation and storage. From here, they are transferred to the electric arc furnace, where temperatures exceeding 1,600 degrees can completely melt the metal. Under this terrible heat, the scrap metal is reborn into liquid metal. During the refining process, additives such as lime and flux are added to remove impurities while forming a protective slag layer on the surface. The alloy composition is also meticulously adjusted to meet industrial steel or aluminum standards. Finally, the molten metal is poured into the continuous casting system, where it quickly solidifies into steel or aluminum ingots. The foundation for the construction, mechanical engineering, and new car manufacturing industries. From seemingly useless scrap, metal is now strongly reborn, starting a new life cycle. A perfect testament to the power of technology and sustainable thinking in modern industry. After being smelted and cast into billets, slabs, or blooms, recycled steel enters the rolling and finishing stage, the final step in the rebirth journey before becoming a commercial product. The steel billets are fed into a furnace to heat to the appropriate temperature, then pass through a giant rolling system. Under strong pressure, the steel is gradually compressed or stretched, forming flat steel sheets or large steel coils with the exact thickness and size required. This is a highly technical step because even a small deviation can affect the quality of the finished product. After rolling, the steel is cooled in a controlled manner to maintain a stable crystal structure, avoiding cracking, warping, or deformation. Next, the product is strictly inspected through many stages: ultrasonic detection of defects, tensile testing, hardness, and bearing capacity. These indicators ensure that recycled steel meets international technical standards, equivalent to, even exceeding, virgin steel. Each batch of steel, after meeting the standards, will be coded and labeled with traceability, ensuring transparency in the global supply chain. Today, recycled steel is widely used in many fields: high-rise building construction, bridges and roads, industrial equipment, and especially new car manufacturing, where old materials return to serve the next generation of cars. Thanks to this process, the life cycle of steel is perfectly closed, turning waste into resources and contributing to building a sustainable circular economy for the modern world. Car recycling is not just a process of processing metal waste, but a symbol of regeneration and sustainable development. Each old car, after decades of rolling, seems to be just scrap, but hidden deep within that rust layer is a priceless, man-made resource mine. Inside them are steel, aluminum, copper, glass, and plastic, materials that can be recycled infinitely, continuing to serve people for centuries to come. Thanks to the modern recycling process, the amount of natural resources that need to be mined is greatly reduced, especially iron ore and aluminum, two materials that consume enormous amounts of energy and cause heavy pollution when mined. Each recycled car is a small victory for the planet, helping to reduce tons of CO2 emissions, protecting water resources, land, and ecosystems from damage. Economically, the car recycling industry is contributing tens of billions of dollars each year, while creating stable jobs for hundreds of thousands of workers around the world. It proves that the circular economy is not just a theory, but a reality that works effectively, where scrap is revived as a new resource, continuing to nourish the global industry. And how beautiful it is when steel from an old car can become the frame of a sturdy bridge. Aluminum from an old hood can be transformed into a new car body, or copper from an old engine can shine in the electrical wires of modern buildings. It is the endless life cycle of matter, where a car's past becomes the foundation for a green and sustainable future of humanity.